scarcity mindset हो जाता है ना, like that is a thing which is like after a point you are told as a kid only अपना एक घर होता तो क्या मजा आ जाता. I have a very bad relationship with money, okay? I mean full admission. Parents are always struggling to get more money. You feel good because you're doing better than your parents, so you're like, oh, so I guess I must be succeeding in life. No. And then you look at the freaking prices and then you're like, shit, ये कैसे afford करेंगे हम? Hello. Welcome to another FAFO Stream. The reason why I'm doing this is because few reasons. One is I had a helpline call yesterday with a nerd friend, and they said that they wanted to know how I write. And honestly, I found myself trying to explain but kind of failed. So what I said was that, listen, maybe I can just write and you can watch me write. So this is something that I have been working on right now, and I thought might as well do it with you guys. So the nerd friend who is also a member can also watch it, and then they can be like, देखो भाई, मतलब this is how I think when I write. So I thought it would be interesting for me also, honestly, because I'm also like trying to figure out how I think when I write. So I'll just watch my stream again and I'll be like, interesting. Oh, that's how it goes. Oh, by the way, friends, Yana Club happened on Saturday. Very fun. 40 people showed up this time. That was very nice. We opened it up for a group discussion and everything. That was quite interesting. We spoke a lot about chapter 1, which is about freedom of expression and how to talk to people who are from an opposing belief system / ideology / religion / other things. And you are basically, your relationship with them is usually like tense or just bad. Is it even possible to build a bridge? Like, is there a territory where you just cannot compromise? So वो discussion हुआ काफी, and case studies हुए बहुत सारे कि oh, this happened, that happened, all the things. And Vimo was there. Yes, Yana Club में Vimo was there this time. He was the special guest. So words of wisdom were given and taken also, to be fair. Modi ji has said use less cooking oil. I saw like headlines that Modi ji is like, oh, prepare like it is COVID time. He's like, basically मैंने आपको already आदत डाल दी है, friends. That live through disaster की आदत डाल दी है. Now the world is a disaster and Modi ji cares. So he's like, sacrifice. You know, the thing is, I've always wondered, in hindsight, during COVID, you know that the capitalists earned a lot of money, right? Like stock market was going nuts. It's like stock market was in its own parallel universe. वो चल रहा था, उनका चल रहा था, जो भी था. And then more people started investing in the market because they saw how well the stock market was doing. So then it made the stock market become even better. As Vimo said, luck is the one thing that we can only depend on now. Gambling, that's a version of that. लोग उसको investing बोलते हैं. I've always said that stock market is basically gambling. I've always wondered, when COVID hit, ठीक है, first wave you are like, ठीक है, we'll figure out what is happening. Then second wave happened and lakhs and lakhs of people started dying. And there was definitely a resource crunch. Why did the government not take giant chunks of taxes out of the rich people? I've always wondered. They know that there are people which are haves and there are people which are have-nots. Some of the people within the haves have too much. They are the have too muches. So these have too muches could have contributed more, genuinely. like PM cares and all, they not the nonsense they did, which was based on personal philanthropy, and everybody was praising, oh look, this rich person, this rich company gave the money. Honestly, it should have been that the government is like, listen, this is now COVID tax, this is disaster time, so we are going to have a disaster tax on the super rich. People who earn more than, who have a value of more than 100 crore. Vana! Vana! So now, when the world is going to shit in a similar situation, again, Vana! Take the money, subsidize the others. No, कैसे करेंगे? But neither the Congress nor the BJP has ever had super rich tax. I don't think it will ever happen in India. I think, I think because we don't ask for it is why it doesn't happen. I think if enough people ask for it, at least there will be a conversation that will be started. अभी तो कोई सोच भी नहीं रहा है इसके बारे में, honestly. Isn't it wrong that government taking money from people, even the rich, shouldn't it be stable taxes and better management of disaster relief rather than taking money out of businesses? Prajwal, I am of the opinion that there is a certain amount of wealth that you can have, but above a certain limit, it becomes exploitation. Essentially, the wealth doesn't appear out of nowhere. I mean, even if it's the stock market, which is completely made up, but still, it is always a hoarding exercise, capital gain exercise, which is basically owning more land, owning more capital, which means there is less capital for the people. And I don't like that. I think, sure, you should have wealth, you should be comfortable, you should be happy, whatever. But too much wealth is also a thing. And I think it's time to accept that. Also, how much people earn and are comfortable with depends on a lot of what kind of relationship they had with resources and money when they grow up. Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%, Prajwal. I definitely agree with you. I have a very bad relationship with money, okay? I mean, full admission. Scarcity mindset ho jata hai na? Like, that is a thing, which is like, after a point, you are told as a kid only, if you grew up in environments where there was not much money to begin with, or there was hardship, फिर वो scarcity mindset आ जाता है, because you see that your parents are always struggling to get more money, so that seems like the primary motivator all the time, so then it becomes a motivator for you also. And then it also becomes like a loop, right? Which is like, oh, they didn't have money, so I must work to make more money. And when you start making more money, you feel good because you're doing better than your parents. So you're like, oh, so I guess I must be succeeding in life. Because growing up, I thought, oh, they are not succeeding in life because they constantly crib about not having much money or whatever. So now you have money, and then you get into the habit of this, and then तुम्हें validation मिलता रहता है. It's a cycle. That is at least what I think happens in a lot of cases. People keep on earning as a purpose. Exactly. But, it is worth asking how much is enough. Is there an enough? Probably not. Probably, for example, parents used to be like, oh, apna ek ghar hota to kya maja aa jata, and you are living in a rented flat. So then that also becomes a primary motivator for you ki nahi, I will have a ghar one day. I will not have I will not go through what my parents went through. But what then tends to happen is that you live in 2026 India now, and you are trying to fulfill this wish of a generation, essentially. And then you look at the freaking prices, and then you're like, shit, ye kaise afford karenge hum? And then you go down a spiral, because obviously buying property is expensive. And it's like, oh my God, am I like my parents? Am I is this like am I like reliving history right now? Now that is also internal awareness, by the way, but in the other direction. Fun. Have a question. I mean, why a party system works is because people are community animals and thrive in unity since evolution. So can such an independent, individualized, personality-based system work? Okay. Good question, Ananya. So, what is the difference between a political party and the network that I'm designing? Political party, when you think about it, Ananya, what do you think it is? As you said, it is a uh, organization tool. Let's say it is an organization, right? A political organization with a particular objective. But I'm looking at it more like a legal entity. Right? Think about it this way. The political party exists because it is allowed to exist by society at large. The purpose of this political party has always been to work for the benefit of the people, to put up candidates and representatives who work for the benefit of the people, and then they get elected and form governments, and then the party machinery also helps them function and work for the people, right? So the political party primary job is accountability to the people, right? They work on donations, they work on contributions. So a political party can take contributions from the general janta and take money, and then they can do their whole machinery according to that. There is no harm in that. I completely understand that, right? But if you look at it as a current legal entity, right, as a concept, it makes sense. It is an organization tool. It is an organization itself, right? But if you look at the current version of it that we see in the real world, the legal version of it, it is an SPV, which is a special purpose vehicle. Remember the donations I told you? The donations are coming from big donors in exchange for favors. So a big donor will give money to a political party, like a contractor, a mafia, a murderer. Bahut log dete hai, you know what I mean. Then the party will be accountable to those big donors, right? The party as an organization which was supposed to represent the people, and most of the people are poor in this country, completely forget that. Then what happens is that they want to expand because the objective of the party has shifted from working for the people to winning elections. You understand? The objective is supposed to be this, but now it is this, which is, oh, I have to win election by hook or crook. I have to come to power, right? It is like an inverted thing almost, right? Which is like, oh, first I will come to power, then work for the people. Instead of, oh, I will work for the people and as a result, I will come to power. So election becomes a sort of a byproduct in that case, in this utopian version that we are talking about. So if you think about it now, if they are winning elections and trying to expand, they need money, which the funders are giving. So they will try to expand their base so that they can get investments from more big donors. So the party grows as an entity, becomes richer and richer and richer. And the other thing that happens parallelly is that they will have an authoritarian leader on top of this structure, which will decide how the tickets are going. So it's no more that people are deciding which representatives should get party tickets from a political party. It is become that, oh, this person who owns the party, the vehicle, is the one who is deciding who gets the tickets. So as a result, the tickets go to either people who are associated with the big donors, or themselves are big donors, or are allies of big donors, or basically make the party win an election, because it has become so cynical, right? Now, I have come to a point where I don't like this anymore. Does anti-defection law make it impossible for MP MLA to go against the party? Yes, it does. And that is another big problem with political parties, which is once you get elected, once your members get elected, the authoritarian on top will decide how they vote. So even the process of voting for particular laws and policies is controlled by the authoritarian. So pehle they decide who to pick for elections, and then once they are in assemblies or parliament, they order them on how to vote. So in both ways, it is a shit show for the people, both before election and after election. I have this theory that government of India is the same entity from 1857 and it exists for extraction. So no matter how moral the ruling government is, it will go back to extraction. Yes, the bureaucracy has been designed according to what the British wanted in order to subjugate our population during that time. And it is a relic of that past. I mean, we had sedition literally until like 2-3 years ago. Now we have another version of sedition, which is not called sedition but is still sedition. It is the brainchild of the British, because they were like, protect the Raj. वही कैरी फॉरवर्ड है ना, वही रेमनेंट्स ही है, वो सब आ रहे आगे. एंड बिकॉज वी आर काइंड ऑफ ओके विद दिस फ्यूडलिस्टिक अथॉरिटेरियन स्ट्रक्चर एंड ऑलवेज हैव बीन, ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ कास्ट, आवर hierarchies are sort of well set in stone, more or less, or people assume they are. So then everything flows from there, no? I still don't understand, why did Dr. B.R. Ambedkar choose to keep a lot of British structure? I know the official answer is Patel wanted India to be strong, but still can't get around and state. Bhanu, here's the thing. It might be a very weird thought right now, but during that time, if you read the Constituent Assembly debates, there was actual discussion and consensus between the people who were in parliament, or constituent assembly during that time. When they formed the constitution, there were, I believe there were more than 300 drafts that were done and circulated, and then comments and discussions and debates, and ye happened for 2.5 years. So it is sure, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar led the process, but he also led a very democratic process. You have to understand that his secretary, I believe his name was something Mukherjee, Ambedkar, when he presented the draft constitution to the Constituent Assembly, he gave full credit to that guy, his draftsman, the chief draftsman, because he was like, the amount of edits that this man has done is insane. And he worked really hard to keep track of all the opinions and all the suggestions that came from all the members who were there, and then finally came up with this draft for deliberation and discussion. See, here's the thing. Right now, in our heads, consensus doesn't exist because we have not seen it. If you are young, if you are even my age, honestly, our current parliament and our system has never shown you that this is possible. So it is completely out of your imagination. But honestly, if you go back in history, this has been happening for a while now. At least in the beginning of India as we know it, this has happened, which is consensus, deliberation, discussion, parliament functioning as a literal body which is supposed to make laws. Yeah, unfortunately, over the years, shit went down. Do you have any reading references for understanding political systems in India? I don't want to read UPSC material. Arey, there is this book. Try. एक second में आ रहा हूँ. I think this is a very good book, which is The People's Constitution, Everyday Life of Law in the Indian Republic. It is a very good book because it is sort of like giving you perspective of how the constitution has been applied over the year, or how our legal system has functioned over the years, more or less. And it is also about the making of the constitution. It has a lot. It has a lot. Let me just read you the blurb a little bit. It has long been contended that the Indian Constitution, a document in English created by elite consensus, has had little influence on India's greater population. Drawing upon previously unexplored records of the Supreme Court of India, People's Constitution appends this narrative and shows how the Constitution actually transformed the daily lives of citizens in profound and lasting ways. This remarkable legal process was led by individuals on the margins of society. And Rohit Day looks at how drinkers, smugglers, petty vendors, butchers, and prostitutes, all despised minorities, shaped the constitutional culture. It's a very fascinating book, like legal cases, etc. ke through. So it gives you a very good look at how it works. Other than that, I'll tell you more. Abhi dimag mein nahi aa raha mere paas. You should definitely read Price of the Modi Years, by the way, by Akar Patel. It of course like uses the current Modi regime as a sort of a giant case study to also explore the flaws in our system. So it's like media, all those things. It's like it's very nicely written. Of course, Akar Patel wrote it. Check that also. I don't know if you have context yet for what I have been doing. So this is the values framework which I have shown earlier, right? This is the Citizen Sane values framework which I am working on. Essentially, it is me trying to figure out what an ideal citizen should look like and writing about it. In my head, I need to sort that out as well, because this is going to form the seed for our giant project, which is we are calling it the Independent India Network now. वो तो बात की बात है, but even like whatever I do, my campaign, my content, my plans, everything will have this sort of value system as the seed, so that essentially my thing is that I should be able to know what I stand for and project that more clearly. So this is as much for me as it is for people who want to work with me, people who want to be on the network, people who want to sort of do political activity and want to do things. It's a value system, right? The reason why I'm doing this is also simple, that a political organization or an experiment of this scale, or the scale that I'm imagining it, would require a binding glue. You can't just build a structure without a value system. You cannot build an organization without a value system, right? You need to have like certain base values that the people in the organization agree with, and therefore they join it, therefore they work for these value systems, and therefore they thrive, or the organization as a whole thrives. So yeah, that is the one. So there are many values. Kindness I've already written about. It is on my Substack. So I keep doing this. Essentially, I get up in the morning and I try to make like mind maps. And every day I sort of make a new one and make a new one until it makes sense to me. This is what I have been working on for a few days now. This is why I wake up at 4:30.